Until 3 years ago, this health center in northern Uganda was a ghost facility. It had no drug. Health workers were regularly absent and many facilities were lacking. In Kenya, human rights abuses went unreported, while residents of counties such as Makueni County were subjected to poor service by water providers, and in Tanzania, there was no way ordinary citizens would complain about human rights abuses. Over the last 2 years, 7 civil society organizations based in East Africa have been at work. The organizations are Collaboration on International ICT Policy in East and Southern Africa, CIPESA, Women of Uganda Network, WUGNET, Toro Development Network, and Transparency International Uganda Chapter, all in Uganda. Others are the Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance, CHRAGG in Tanzania, Kenya Human Rights Commission, KHRC, and iHub Research in Kenya. With support of the Swedish Program for ICT in Developing Regions, SPIDER, these organizations are working under the ICT for Democracy Network for East Africa to leverage use of ICTs to enhance civic empowerment and improving governance. Their work is triggering off a new wave in the region. When Swedish Program for ICT in Developing Regions, SPIDER, and the Association for Progressive Communications, APC, organized this governance stakeholders workshop held in Uganda in November 2010, little did they know that they were triggering off a wave in use of ICT in governance and democracy.
This is a group of 7 actors across the region that have been grouped together because their thematic focus is on democracy. Now, democracy is not the only thing we focus on. We also focus on education, we focus also on health.
Within the network, partners rely on and utilize the very platforms they promote in their individual projects for maintaining communication and relationships among themselves. The Collaboration on International ICT Policy in East and Southern Africa, CIPESA, is one of the 2 centers established under the Catalyzing Access to Information and Communication Technologies in Africa initiative was founded in 2004. CIPESA focuses on decision-making that facilitates the use of ICT in support of development and poverty reduction. Under the ICT for Development project, CIPESA undertook citizen journalism training in partnership with a community-based organization in Mayuge district.
So we see ICTs are empowering people, making them take action, gather information, engage with their leaders and raise problems that are in their societies, and action is being taken on the issues that these citizens are raising.
In Kasese, Western Uganda, CIPESA has been working with eSociety. The society is a cost-free center that helps local residents to access information through the internet.
Originally, they did not have ICT skills. They could not understand things to do with websites. They could not understand anything to do with emails. But currently, they know what a website is. Each and every department knows what information is supposed to be displayed, how to work with the public using email.
The center is a main attraction for the youth in the area.
They come here and spend their time here. I have a team of like 4 young men who are already producing videos using our equipment here. We give them the camera, they capture, they come and edit their things we give them a computer, and they're starting to produce these videos right from here.
The center connects Kasese to the rest of the world.
I have seen that with the community, they have developed several boards. It acts now as a discussion kind of board, whereby people now can post information here, their views. The people have expressed their views on various issues which affect them as a community.
The Women of Uganda Network, WUGNET, has been working with communities of women in northern Uganda for the last 10 years. Its projects have been empowering women to use ICTs for improved service delivery.
We decided to come out with a project empowering local communities to monitor district service delivery through ICTs, to make sure that the community of northern Uganda are empowered to put their leaders to task to account for the services that they are offering to the community.
The radio improved women's access to information, resulting in newfound courage. They are able to challenge their leaders on governance issues.
At times we collected money for building fee. After collecting all this money, we don't see the accountability. There's a the misuse of this money.
This has resulted in reduced corruption and improved service delivery.
Community used to fear their leaders, but today they are working together. They are holding their leaders accountable for the action they're taking in terms of service delivery in their community. Our community used not to know the importance of ICT. They used to use ICT for sending greetings over the radio, requesting for songs. But today they are using ICT innovatively and strategically to document, and then after documenting, report.
Today, Amach Health Center in Lira is a much transformed place from what it was 3 years ago. Beatrice Apong was once the district official in charge of the health post.
The situation on the ground, that is to say in our health facilities at the district, was that we used to have approximately 60% absenteeism of our staff in the health facilities. Secondly, we did not have any linkage between the community members and the health staff at the health facility.
Transparency International Uganda chapter, another member of the network, has been involved in mobilizing the citizenry and other civic groups to engage in the anti-corruption agenda.
The project came in as a part of rebuilding the health systems in northern Uganda. After about 20 years of wars, health systems became a challenge.
Under its project, voluntary accountability committees have been set up to monitor health service delivery on behalf of the community. Lira District has 32 volunteers. 56-year-old Richard Okao chairs the committee of volunteers that has had outstanding impact in Lira.
We are empowered to come and monitor all the service delivery and all the facilities, because there were a lot of things, chaos and what have you. For example, some staff who are not reporting on duty at right time and leaving, they could come very late and leave very early.
The organization established a call center that has about a technologically led, transparent and vibrant service delivery to a region that has experienced various atrocities. The organization also facilitated the citizens to use local radio station to report and highlight incidences of poor service delivery, poor governance and corruption.
The community are not looking at these health centers to be the government institution in their various locations. They're looking at the health centers to be their own, that the government brought to help them. For that matter, they even want the accountability from the in charges, from the midwives, from the nurses,
In western Uganda, communities in Kabarole district came together under an organization called Toro Development through an effort they call Converging ICT Tools to promote service delivery in the Rwenzori region. The organization mobilized communities and equipped them with skills to use ICT.
Their main work is to use the appropriate ICT tools to monitor service delivery and to demand accountability from their leaders.
Through village-based forums such as this one, the citizens have been able to engage their leaders to act transparently and be accountable.
We are having a problem at that bridge where we've crossed, that is Kahompo Bridge. It has spent like 7 years, like in every season, it floods. And no government has not done anything.
Notable success achieved through the forums have been infrastructure projects undertaken in the community. This 10 kilometers road connecting the community to the national road network and this bridge that once flooded and caused losses of life were repaired, but the workmanship was substandard. The community went up in arms.
Balengaho ebigambo ebyo binaberekire babitwara aha radio. Kuba babitwara aha radio babigambira radio chairman LC5 yakwataho munonga yizana group na team ya district na engineer biza bayikarugudo aha basanga orugudo rukozirwe kubi munonga.
The forums have empowered citizens to champion the fight for good governance, service delivery and human rights.
Members of the rural advocacy forums like Katoke People's Forum and other rural monitors they've trained in both offline and online advocacy skills, write reports, and they take the reports, they post them on the online platforms, especially Facebook and Ushahidi, and those reports also they email them to particular radio journalists. In the Rwenzori region we have 13 radio stations, and therefore radio is a very powerful tool in mobilizing people, advocating for improved service delivery, because they reach to a wide audience and the local leaders listen to them and also the local people listen to them.
In Kenya, the network has the National Independent Kenya Human Rights Commission, KHRC. Founded in 1991, the Commission defends human rights and advocates for political reforms in Kenya. Aware that Kenya's democracy is hindered by impunity, indifference to corruption, tribalism, and citizen apathy, the Commission has been running a project, ICTs for Democracy and Human Rights.
This project aims to use ICTs to promote democratic principles, principles of good governance, and also to monitor human rights violations that are occurring in the country.
In undertaking reforms, the Commission has sought for citizen participation and government accountability.
Also, in the other areas that we look at is service delivery in a devolved government. Since 2010, our constitution provided for devolution of governance, and so we have 47 counties. In our project, we work in about 24 of those 47 counties, and we look at different areas of service delivery. So as far as this project is concerned, we have engaged with 10 human rights networks, 10 out of 30 human rights networks that we work with. These human rights networks are grassroots, community-based human rights organizations that monitor human rights on the ground and also keep government accountable.
The Commission has worked with local partners such as the human rights networks, Hurinets, empowering them with ICT skills to enhance the monitoring and reporting skills of human rights issues.
It made it easier for us to work on passing information. The other thing also, it enabled us collect a lot of information from far places.
The Hurinets were very active during the election on various social media platforms. They continue to effect change in their communities through ICT. iHub Research is the research arm of iHub, an innovation hub in Nairobi, Kenya. It embraces open technology. The iHub is a community space where creative designers, developers, researchers, investors, and venture capitalists meet, share ideas, and collaborate. Under the network, iHub Research launched a mobile governance project in September 2011. The aim was to evaluate how mobile phones technology can be used to improve Kenyan governance, especially in enhancing transparency through access to water information, service charters, and effective communication amongst the different stakeholders.
Over the 18-month duration of the project, we were able to really better understand what are the ideal conditions and factors to help improve the use of mobile tech in the appropriate sectors of the governance structures in Kenya.
We wanted to first investigate the type of information the citizens were interested in receiving. We were also interested in understanding the gaps faced by the stakeholders and the citizens in trying to access water information. Third, we wanted to understand the appropriate technology platform necessary for both the citizens and the stakeholders to use to interact with in the governance space to get access to water information. And finally, identify how mobile phone technology as a technology in itself can be used in the water governance sector to address the gaps and the challenges faced.
iHub's research created new knowledge for the implementation of successful sustainable solutions for governance issues.
We've also been able to provide an in-depth analysis of the water sector in Kenya, the structure and how it is, how it affects how citizens interact with government when it comes to raising issues on poor service delivery in the water sector.
iHub research illustrates the gains towards employing the use of mobile technology in governance processes. In Tanzania, the Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance, CHRAGG, was established in 2001 in fulfillment of Tanzania's national constitution. It plays a dual role of an ombudsman and a human rights commission for the protection and promotion of human rights as well as good governance.
Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance is an independent department of the government which is mandated to promote, protect and preserve human rights and principles of good governance in the country. We have land conflicts in Tanzania, which is now a big case that involve citizens and citizens, farmers and pastoralists, government and citizens. We have investors and citizens. So it has been growing day after day.
Under the network, the Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance implemented the SMS for Human Rights project. Through the SMS system, citizens of Tanzania are able to report complaints and cases of human rights abuse.
Citizens losing faith to this government institution, law enforcers in particular, and they have decided to take actions without following the law. For example, killing suspects. Instead of sending them to the police, they just take decision killing. That's a very big.
We know that the mobile technology has already now penetrated in the majority part of the countries, and we thought that this is the only technology that can reach people who are requiring the Commission's assistance. So far in the system, we've already received more than 1,400 complaints. These are the complaints that were exchanged.
The SMS system has been well received by ordinary citizens, since most of them have access to mobile phones.
Nilikuwa nasikia television kwa kipindi viwili vilivyopita kwa kuna mambo ya haki za binadamu kwa wale wenye matatizo ambao kidogo yamewakwaza wao, wana msaada wa kuwasaidia. Kwa hivyo na mimi niliona tatizo nalo, nikasikiza kwa makini na ikaelezwa kwa wapo karibu na ikulu hapa nyuma ya bunge.
The ICT for Democracy in East Africa network has been built on the recognition that information and communication technology enhances communication and the right to freedom of expression, as well as the right to seek, receive, and impart information.
ICT, therefore, becomes a very good medium for even people who normally are not engaged or do not speak out to actually speak out and participate in civic matters and contribute to the changing of society.
The success stories from the network partners in each of these countries indicate the potential ICT has to increase citizens' participation in decision-making processes, thus strengthening democratization. As ICT costs become lower, while access and penetration increases within East Africa, citizens are becoming more empowered to fight corruption, monitor service delivery, and contribute to building a democratic culture. It's a new cultural wave that is set to sweep across the emerging democracies of the world.
Wachiandika